Welcome to season 3 of the Stay Fit Mom podcast. I can't believe it's already season 3. Seems a little wild.
So crazy.
So tell us what we have in store season 3. I know each season has had its own theme that a lot of the episodes are centered around. So what do we have in store season 3? Tracy is the mastermind, obviously, behind the podcast. So this is all her. She has all the episodes laid out. I just get to show up every once in a while and chat, but let us all know what season 3 is all about.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of forethought goes into how these episodes come together. And we've been asking our followers, asking the Ninja Insider group, what kind of topics do you want to see? And almost unanimously across the board, there just seems to be a lot of questions surrounding perimenopause, hormone replacement therapy, peptides, and GLP-1s, and things that Krista and I can speak to from experience with
I'm gonna
our yeah, go
Sorry,
ahead.
I'm cutting you off here. I was gonna say, isn't it so interesting that as we move into these stages of life ourselves, that's kind of I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that those kind of people are drawn to us in our program, and so we're coming Yeah,
Engaging
engaging
with our
with
audience.
them, and these topics interest us, and they interest our clients as well, so it's been fun to learn about all these different things as we go through it.
Yeah, and so for a lot of these episodes, we are just speaking to our experience and what we've seen in the expertise and knowledge that we have. But this season, we have some interviews lined up that are pretty awesome with doctors, nurse practitioners, medical experts that can provide a lot more clarity on these issues. So, yeah, I'm excited about it.
Cool. So we get to do our segments. These are just always so much fun. One of my favorite parts, even though I feel like I never sometimes we'll record an episode and I'm like, dang it, I should have mentioned this as my hot mess moment or whatever, but they're still a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think our listeners like these as well. So, yeah, let's start with just first thing, Krista, I wanted to ask you was if you had to describe your summer in one word, what would it be? Because we're coming off of summer. Yeah, just tell me.
I feel like a lot of people would say this, but fast. It just goes by so fast and it makes me so sad. You look forward to summer all throughout the school year. Actually, I feel like everything's great up until the holidays, and then it's okay. When is summer gonna be here? We're over the cold. We wanna go on some vacations. Our summer actually started out really slow. We scheduled all of our vacations for the last month of summer. So we hung around at the house for 4 weeks or so, and we're getting bored, and then all of a sudden it was like, we did our vacations and boom, we're back in school.
Mm.
Yeah, so it made it go by really fast there at the end. What about you?
Yeah,
What's
and
your
that's kind of like a jump scare when you are just relaxing and chill. Then you go on these vacations and it's like 0 to 100. You're back in all
Mhm.
the routines, all the rhythms. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well, that
mean,
was
you guys did your big van road trip, so I'm dying to hear what your word for the summer is.
I was this is so lame, but my word was also fast. We're such basic white girls, but
Yep.
fast in that so this was our 3rd summer as a family of 8, a 3rd summer post-adoption, and the 1st summer was when we brought our kids into our home, and that felt very it just felt like things were coming at us like crazy. We were very reactive. We don't know how this is gonna go. How do
Right.
we even do this? And so that was a crazy summer. But then the next summer, I felt like was almost like, okay, this is our life, and our life is really hard now. And they've tested boundaries. And anyway, it was just a challenge. I felt low in a lot of places that summer. And this summer, I feel like having had our adopted children, this is probably the longest they've lived in a place ever. And it's just wonderful to be in rhythms and systems. We've been consistent. And so it just feels like things have been easier. All that to
Mhm.
be said, we have had a great summer. And I feel like we intentionally planned them so that they were spaced out with just enough downtime in between so that we wouldn't kill each other.
So, just recap real quick for us. What did you do this summer?
Yeah, so the road trip, we went on this epic 16-day road trip and took our Sprinter van, and I think it's something every family should do. I know you guys have done it, and
Mhm.
there's so many memories to be made when you're in the car on the road and you're seeing different things, the landscape change, and
Mhm.
just a different agenda every single day. It's unlike any other vacation that I've done. And there were some high highs and some low lows, but I felt almost a little bit like a homeschool mom. I don't know if you get that vibe when you're on the road in the camper, like showing your kids all these new things.
I can totally see you being that way. I don't know that I'm the homeschool mom, but Chad loves driving state to state, like you said, seeing the landscape change, seeing the coast, and yeah, we just love that.
Yeah, it was awesome, and we visited some incredible places, things that I've never seen living on the West Coast my whole life, and I haven't done this on the West Coast, so I can't even say, "Oh, I've seen everything there is to see on that side of the country," because I haven't, but I
Mhm.
do feel like we covered a lot of ground, and my kids saw a lot of things, and I don't know, it was awesome. It was fun.
Yeah. So you did the road trip. What else you guys did? I know you did San Diego here at the end of the summer for your
Yep,
reunion.
my kids did some church summer camps, and my mom and dad came to visit. My mom and stepdad came to visit for, gosh, 3 weeks, and that is always helpful. That's, like, a huge help to have extra adult hands, and I don't know, it was
Yeah.
busy. It was
Yeah.
nonstop.
And you had guests that came and stayed with you during the summer. Yeah,
Yes. Yep, all that.
sweet.
So, it was great. It was good, and also, speaking of, lots of home stuff happening around here and around your house. I know that was probably a big portion of why you didn't travel right away in the summer
Mhm.
for you, right?
Yeah, we moved in right there at the end of May before school got out, so we settled in June, and then July 4th pretty much kicked off our summer. We did small town 4th of July in Canairville, Utah. It's like a full day parade in the morning, and then there's barbecue, all the games and things. It's really like a fair. It's like at the park, and they have water games and relay races. We always do that. That's fun, and then at night, there's fireworks and a dance, and
A
it's
dance.
a really big deal in these small towns the whole day. So that's fun. We try to do that every summer, and then we went home for a few days, and then we went back to St. George for a week. We
That's
stayed,
right.
that one of those resorts that have the pools at Arcadia, and then we went home for another few days, and then we went to Huntington Beach for a couple weeks, which seems to it's become our summer thing for some reason. It's just the weather's so good there. It's only like a 4-hour drive for us. We can use the RV. It's
Yeah,
all
and for anybody that doesn't live in either Las Vegas or Florida heat, you don't realize what a luxury it is to just be outdoors at 11 AM to
Mhm.
5 PM without any, "Oh my gosh, just we can sit outside." We could be
Yeah.
doing anything. You could just be sitting in this concrete parking lot, and it's a joy.
It's still warm during the days, but even just it's so nice. "Oh, it's getting cold tonight. I gotta put my sweater on in the
Oh,
middle of July." It's just so
yes.
wild for us desert
Yeah.
people.
The next thing is the last time, and I thought it would be fun to say the last time you went to Home Goods. Speaking
Oh,
of, every time I walk into Home Goods, every single time, which I've been there
yeah.
a lot lately, and I know you have too,
Yeah.
but every time I just feel like all these eyes are on me, like, "This is the girl we're marketing toward."
I started getting to know the clerk, one of the clerks. She was so nice. She's like, "What'd you find today?"
Ex That's my point. They come in there and they're like, "Dollar signs, let's
Well,
go."
do you have a Home Goods card? Do you
Oh,
have the Home Goods
no, I
credit
don't.
card? Okay. I finally got one and I was like, "I should have done this a long time ago. I could have been racking up all these points." Though I don't use it to the highest potential. There's perks. You can go on certain days and get double points, and then they send you coupons, which is fun. But
Oh,
anyway, it's slowed way down. When we first moved in, I was going all the time, but we did actually go the other night, Sunday night. "Babe, you wanna go to Home Goods?" He's the kind of he always wants to just go do something, he
oh,
hates being bored. So he went with me and I got a big picture for my another one for my bedroom. I say another one, I have small ones, but I got a big one for above the bed. And we got a stool for our shower because we have a bench that we built in the shower, that's the steam shower, but the guys made it too narrow. And so
Mm,
Chad is, "I need a bench for my feet." Well, we didn't go there looking for it, it just happened to be there, and it was like a waterproof
resistant.
water
Yeah.
resistant is
Yes.
the word, yes.
Yes.
Cute little bench we put in the shower. Those were our finds.
I literally walked by that water resistant bench at my Home Goods yesterday when I went, and I thought, I don't so we don't have a bench at all in our new shower. I'm like, "Oh,
Mhm.
I should probably pick this up." But
Yeah.
I then realized I'm never sitting in the I don't have a
What about
steam
when you
shower.
shave? Do you, like,
Yeah.
put your leg up to shave?
Yeah, I have a shave bar, like,
Okay.
bar where you just put your like, that
Oh,
has
maybe you don't need it.
yeah.
I don't do the steam shower, to be honest. Maybe I will when I if I get congested at some point, but I feel like I can't breathe. Chad does the steam shower all the time, and after we got the bench, he was like, "This is perfect." I sat on our little bench and put my feet on it and didn't feel like I was falling off.
What a life of luxury. I love
What did you get at Home Goods last time?
So, I have gone the last 2 Mondays
You
in a row. Do
2
you
days.
know what day that your Home Goods stocks things?
I feel like they're always stocking things.
Like, once a week, they get their drop.
Maybe they get a drop once a week probably, but I think they're, like, bringing things in from the back all the time. I'll
Mm,
say when we went on Saturday night, we didn't go close enough to closing. I try not to go on the weekends because
yeah.
there were a lot of people, and it's really annoying when you can't turn the corner onto another aisle because they have them so crammed with stuff.
Yes.
I was a little annoyed. I'm like, "This I knew not to come." You either have to go right at closing on the weekend nights or not at all, just go during the week.
Huh.
So I've been wanting to go back this week, but I haven't made it.
I will say it is fun when you get to that point in the stage of remodel/construction. We've gone through a lot of the hard parts, and now it's, "Oh, this is the fun part," where you get to, like, see things that are pretty and pick them out. So,
Mhm.
we are to that point in a lot of spaces now, so I'm looking for art for the walls and a mirror and bedding, Euroshams, I don't know, just things that will make this space look beautiful, rugs, and I found a giant mirror for my bedroom. I actually need to take a picture of it and show you
Yeah.
because you have a really cool mirror in your
Mhm.
bedroom too. But yeah, I found one at Home Goods and it's
I
beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful. So, just fun.
it's just a fun store.
It really is. It can be dangerous.
Yes.
I think it's a lot more affordable than a lot of these
Yes.
furniture stores and things.
And they're one of those stores that, like, they purchase from some of these other companies. They purchase items that don't sell or something, and then they
Uh-huh.
resell them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also got a recliner chair for my bedroom just to
Mhm.
sit,
They
and I've
have
already
cute chairs.
yeah, they have so many
So many
chairs.
cute
This one's
chairs.
very basic, it's just like a white recliner,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I have been on the hunt for an entry table. My kids said,
Mhm.
"We finally got our dining table this week," and it just showed up randomly. Usually, they, like, call you, "We're coming tomorrow," or whatever
Right.
this company it was a nightmare, but it finally just showed up one day, and I was thankful I was home, but my son, Brett, was like, "What are you gonna do now, mom? We have all of our furniture. You have nothing else to buy." I'm like, "Trust me, there are still things. We don't have a back patio yet. We'll eventually
Right.
need outdoor furniture," but I'm like, "I need an entry table."
That one that you posted on your Instagram
So
stories
cute.
were so cute. Was that just where is that
So
from? Where?
pricey. Wayfair, but it's, like, over $3,000 and I just can't do
Uh,
that. I also need a longer like, my entryway is
mhm.
long, pretty big, so I really want, like, a 72-inch, just, like, narrow table for decor, lamp, whatever, a mirror. It's fun to look. I'm not getting frustrated, I'm in no hurry, but I've got my eyes open looking.
And Home Goods is gonna deliver. One of these days, you're gonna walk in there and you're gonna be like, "That's
Maybe.
it."
I don't feel like I see a lot of entry tables there, though.
The long ones that you need, yeah, maybe not.
Anyway, what's for dinner this week?
I feel like I make a lot of the same things, so I'm nervous that I've already shared this one before, so if I have
When you have 6 kids, it's okay. We forgive you.
I know, but I actually have been really branching out. My kids are like, "Whoa, this is new." Oh, I was gonna say tonight I'll share just a couple things in that regard. Tonight, we're having the cheeseburger sloppy joes. Have I mentioned those already on here?
I don't think so.
Okay. I love the traditional sloppy joes.
Uh,
Ever since you came out with the cheeseburger sloppy joe recipe, I have not gone back because it's
Really?
yes,
Yep.
so good.
And there's the Philly cheesesteak sloppy joes. There's 3 now, but
Oh,
I
I
do think
haven't. tried
cheeseburger
that
ones
one.
are my favorite too.
And
They're
then,
all
Krista, the Blackstone hibachi is
amazing.
I
We've wanted one forever. We have a little one for the RV, but we don't use it at home.
the game changer for me, like, it's twofold. Girls, listen up. Number 1, your husband's out there cooking. So that's, like, the joy of my life.
Yeah,
Number 2, there's no dirty pots and pans. It's
yeah,
not only that he's doing the cooking, then the kitchen is not nearly as messed up as it normally
right.
is.
You're not getting all that splatter and a messy stovetop.
Yes,
That
it's
is
so
nice.
good. And for us, it makes big family cooking really easy because there's just a huge
Yes.
slab where you can cook. I mean, we
What are
cook
your go-to meals for that? Do you do, like, smash burgers and tacos and all that?
we've only made a few things. We did the hibachi night, which that was my
Mhm.
absolute favorite. I was like, "We need to do this once a week," because it was
Yeah.
so good. Then a lot of breakfast. Chris has been out there doing breakfast burritos, start to finish on the Blackstone. People are telling me like, "Oh, when you cook bacon out there, it's your house doesn't smell, it's the easiest cleanup."
What? Who doesn't like the smell of bacon?
I think it's just it takes over the whole smell of that. You're right, it
Yeah.
does smell good, but and then
Yeah.
just like the McGriddle sandwiches, how you do
Yes.
pancakes are so easy out there. Breakfast is so easy out there. It's super fun. So we
I'm always
mostly
so
done that.
impressed you guys make breakfast for your kids every day.
We don't anymore.
Oh, you
With that
don't?
no, that day that has passed.
I always thought, "How?" Like,
No,
my
that
kids
has
are lucky if I make pancakes on the weekend.
yeah, that has passed. Although, yeah, so we are now a family that is make your own breakfast, pack your own lunch. I will make you
Mhm.
one meal a day, and if you choose
Absolutely.
not to fend for yourself those other times of days, then you're still
Yeah.
gonna be fine having one meal a day, but anyway, they do.
I have been helping Brett with meals. I prepped the green chili egg casserole, and I put it in little bowls for him to reheat in the morning. His days are just so long,
Yeah.
and I'd hate that. So, anyway, yeah, this week, I've been busting out some recipes for the meal prep volume 3. So I haven't
Woohoo!
I've just been filling the fridge with bowls. So dinner, we've been reheating whatever's in there. Typically, I like to have bowls for lunch or the kids can have right after school, whatever's in there. And then I usually like to make a family dinner. Like you, I cook that for the day. But yeah,
But
I've
when
done
your
a
mom is a
couple.
recipe creator and she's making 5 recipes at once, yeah, your freezer, your fridge is just filling
Oh,
up.
yeah, but also the bummer is sometimes it's, "Oh, this one wasn't great." I did a couple lasagna recipes this week, actual layered lasagna in the bowls, which was really fun. But the one I did, like, beef and broccoli, and I wanted to really pack in the broccoli, and I was like, "Okay, I'm thinking 100 grams per serving, per bowl." It was a little too much. I'm like, "I'm gonna scale it back to 85 grams," because it was just too much broccoli in one bowl, and but my family's great. They'll be like, "It was good, but maybe a little less broccoli," or which is great.
That's
They're very
great.
honest with me. Except for
That is
Archie, he's always, "That was great, mom, no matter what."
that's a gift to our hearts that they'll just eat anything,
Yeah.
but when you're eating your beef and broccoli bowl, you're gonna thank Krista when you're not choking on another stalk of broccoli because they brought it down a little bit. Okay, what's your hot mess moment of the week? I can go first if you're not sure.
Mine is not great, so I'll just tell you, and we can be done with mine. I feel like I'm up to my ears in boxes all the time. We used to have a big dumpster during the construction and when we first moved in, but it's Costco boxes, and I've been ordering chairs for the dining room table, and it's always something, and I always have a huge pile of boxes in the house, and it's making me crazy. I'm like, "This is a hot mess in here. We always got boxes. What are we gonna do with this?" They're piling up in the garage. You can only fit so many in the recycle bin that we get. So that's been driving me crazy.
So
What about
we
you?
have a bulk day every
Mhm.
week, and we can just put all our boxes. We don't even have to tear them up. We just
Yeah.
put them out. You guys don't have that,
We do have bulk days, but
but
it's
not
not
every
every
weekend.
week, like
Okay.
twice a month or something. But you're right, I forget we utilize that for things, but not typically just boxes. I should. I'm gonna tell Chad. I'm gonna ask Chad when that bulk day is.
We do is we have it every single week on Friday. So we will store all of our boxes, some of them we break down, but I know what you mean. There's some like our cabinetry came in these huge boxes,
Yeah,
long, weird shaped, and we
they
just
don't
put
even fit
them.
in the dumpster.
Yeah,
You're right,
no,
my boys are great, though. Every once in a while, I'll say, "Arch, can you break down these boxes for me?" But, yeah, that's probably what I should just have them do is take care of the piles we have right now and get them ready to go out on bulk day.
that's a good kid
Forgot
chore
about that.
for sure.
I'm glad I shared that one. Now I have a solution.
Problem solved.
Wait for that bulk day.
Happy to help. I was
What's
just gonna say my hot mess moment is just me chewing garlic. I don't know if you caught. Oh, yes, you messaged me about it.
Yes, I just thought you must reek of garlic for days
I
that you
was
don't even know, right?
I know I didn't have a great sense of smell, but I know that I could feel the garlic for days coming out of my body, like
Yeah,
sweating it out. But
and
after I did it, I don't know. There's so many other ways to ingest garlic that don't involve just like chewing a huge
mm.
clove and swallowing it down. So I'm like, did I just think that
Well,
was I don't know why I didn't think of some of these other options, and I was just in my mind like, you gotta just chew it up and eat it.
I assume that you have to eat it raw. No? You can cook it and it's still gonna be
Well, if
beneficial.
you cook it in, like, the broth that you're also going to drink, wouldn't you
Oh,
think?
I don't know, I just thought that the acidic, like, spiciness of it is supposed to just do something, I don't know.
No, it
I've
doesn't
never done it, that
100%.
was just my assumption,
That might make
because
sense.
if I roasted some garlic and some olive oil, it sounds delicious, I could do that. I
Yeah.
love garlic, but I've never chewed it up raw.
I'm gonna have to do some research and see if that's true because I only chewed it up the one day, and then the other I had a whole clove of garlic 2 more days, but I did it the sissy way, which was just boil it in some bone broth and add some leftover chicken to it and have it like a
Mhm.
soup, and that was this was
Right?
easy. This
Yeah.
isn't but I wasn't reeking of garlic either. I don't know.
Huh.
All that to be said, I was out of bed right after I chewed it the next I slept great. The next morning, I was out of bed. I was like, "I know. There's some truth to this."
Or because it was what, like the 4th day?
Could have been that
How long
too.
hadn't you been sick? You've been sick, you said, for 3 days.
Could
Yeah.
have been that, Krista, but I want to think
May
that
have been a
it's
coincidence. No, I'm just trying to
but I got the funniest messages. One was, "My husband is gonna try this. Thank you so much." And then the next message was like, "He doesn't know he's gonna try it yet, but he's been in bed with a man cold for 5 days, so he is trying this."
yes. I think I just am convinced that the men must just have it harder when they have a cold or something because, yeah, they're all the same. Why is it so much harder for them to get over a cold?
And also, it's I don't I just can never lay in bed undisturbed for hours. That just it doesn't go with mom's life. But Chris, he doesn't feel good. He just goes right to sleep. Nobody bothers him. Boom, he's healed.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
you're feeling better now?
I do.
The
I
last
just have a
3 days?
little bit of a snotty nose. Hopefully it's not annoying for people to listen to. But besides that, feel good.
Are we ready to jump into today's episode?
Let's do it.
So today's episode is all about your dad, right? You're going to tell us about your dad and how it's shaped your love and passion for health and fitness, right?
Yeah. That's it, Krista. I feel like should I title this episode "Daddy Issues"? Because I do feel like I
Yeah,
could go to
I don't know that I'd say you have daddy issues. Daddy
hell.
issues?
I just feel like this A, it's the first day of my cycle, and B, I'm gonna share some personal information that is just near and dear to my heart about, yeah, what has fueled my passion, my experience growing up with a dad that had a lot of health issues and how that has affected my life then and shaped it up until now and still shapes it every day.
Where do you want to start? You want to start with just childhood and your story? I know a lot of us, we see your stepdad on Instagram all the time. And I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of people just assume that is your dad because you call him dad, right?
Well,
Dennis?
let's just start right there. That's an interesting topic in itself. I called him Dennis for a long time, never really called him dad, and I would refer to him as my stepdad almost all the time. And then one of the sweetest things that has come out of adoption is my stepdad saying, "I would love it if you called me dad." And I think before adopting children and knowing what that feeling feels like as a parent, I would have been very like, "Ugh, I can't believe you even would ask me that," or had walls up. And now my heart is so tender and soft to that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I have withheld calling him dad for so long.
That's
Anyway, it
sweet.
just gave me a whole different
So this
vision.
is so that's recent? Like in the last
Yeah.
year?
Mm, like last 3 when we adopted, so 3 years
Yeah.
ago, yeah. So,
So
yes, the dad that you see on my social media is not my biological dad, that is my
mm,
stepdad. My mom married him when my stepdad
I was
came into
gonna
my life
say
a long time.
when I met you, Tracy, just before freshman year, Dennis has always been around.
Yeah, yeah.
So him and your mom have been together a long time.
Yeah, so I guess we could start with just, yeah, my dad struggles with addiction and obesity, and that kind of leads into where I started feeling the impacts of it as a child. So my parents were divorced when I was 8 years old. I feel like any divorce is messy, and this one was not like I never saw my parents like at each other's throats or anything, but it was hard. It was just hard. My dad had a gambling addiction. We lived in Las Vegas. My dad moved to Las Vegas for gambling. Financial infidelity would happen all the time. She didn't know at first. My dad took care of all the bills. She didn't know what was happening. And then she opened up mail one day to see that I don't know exactly what, other than
Mhm.
they probably had nothing. And my mom was working as well. My parents always both worked.
Did your dad work in the casinos as well?
Yeah, my parents are both poker dealers.
Okay.
And so I also have a heart for that. We were living in different times where seeking help for addiction was not as prevalent as it is now. Now I
Mhm.
feel like it's a lot healthier and more accepted to share on a podcast. Yeah, my dad had a gambling addiction, and there's not like stigma surrounding that like there was then. But I have vivid memories of my mom giving him chances and more chances. And I remember at one point being in the car, and my dad was like, "I'm just going to run in for a minute." And for sure was gambling while my brother and I were just sitting in the parking lot in the car. And then I remember my mom and I walking through a casino one day and seeing my dad sitting at a slot machine and my mom's face like, this is the last straw. Just so frustrated. So, anyway, that was specific to that gambling addiction. But with that came a lot of other health habits, just a lot of issues with food and eating in excess. And my dad growing up actually was the fun parent. He had such great personality. He was funny. He told stories. I wanted to be around him. He was just very charismatic. He would take me to 7-Eleven and he would get cigarettes and I would get a king size Reese's peanut butter cup as like a 7-year-old, like things that we now would never just be like, sure, pick out 5 candy bars, but there was just life with no limits with my
Right.
dad.
And to so for you, that was normal.
That was normal and that was like living best life. And but he was always large. I don't ever have a memory of my dad being a normal framed person. He was always just my dad was a big guy and never seemingly trying to work on bettering himself. It was like almost like he had given himself over to this is just who I am and this is just how I'm going to be. And so anyway, I feel like that's shaped me a ton in who I am today in that because I have had to face the ripple effects of what that means for me and my kids. That means you made a choice to not seek after treatment and help. But, of course, it's like an addict. What do you do? There's grace there, and I don't know, it's just complicated. It's so
Right.
complicated, but
And I'm sure even when you have these addictions, the gambling addiction, like, I'm sure he didn't like having the addiction and maybe he also was depressed and
yes, a
who
lot of
knows what
shame
else.
and guilt
Yeah.
and yes. is
Uh,
all tied with that, yes.
so was there any particular moment where you realized this isn't how he should be living or that your eyes were open to this is not the lifestyle that he should be living?
Yeah, I think just growing up and watching him unravel. My mom was just superwoman, and I remember going to my dad's apartment and just feeling again, like you were saying, like just so much guilt, so much shame, sadness. He would cry all the time, which was just hard for a teen to like, should I be comforting him? But I'm also mad. I also feel like I was wrapped up in my own life of I'm playing sports and I'm doing all these fun things as a teen and how self-indulgent we are as human beings, period, but like as a kid. But I think when I became a parent myself and then I watched Chris as a dad, a lot of my pain for what I missed as a child
Mhm.
came from watching Chris
Yeah.
parent. Oh my gosh, Chris chooses the hard over what he would want to do every time. I would really like to go on a fishing trip for 3 days, but I'm a parent. I would really like everything, like the amount of sacrifice it takes to be a parent. You just don't realize it until you become one yourself, and then you go to your mom and, like, in my case, like, I'd go to my mom and just weep. I can't believe I was so selfish, and but, yeah, that's where a lot of the realization came from me. You have made these choices, and they've been hurtful to me, and I have to suffer the consequences of my kids are gonna grow up without knowing who you are,
So
and that's hard.
yeah, so at this same time when you're having kids and you're realizing this is when your dad's health took a turn for the worse at the same kinda time, and you
Yeah.
started having to take care of him, you and Grayson?
Yeah, so I was 24 years old and pregnant with Milo at the time, and I remember getting a call from Arizona Charlie's Casino, and they said that your dad went down in the casino and we're taking him to the ER, and I knew he had a lot of health problems in that, like, he was a big guy, but I didn't know the extent of what we were dealing with, and so I remember going to the ER and he was in a medically induced coma, not breathing on his own, basically being kept alive by a machine. It was really bad. Thought he was gonna die. And I'm 24, just thinking about that now, thinking about my children who are like a stone's throw away from being in their 20s, which is crazy to
Mhm.
think now.
Right.
But oh my gosh, figuring out I had to figure out who was gonna take care of my dad at 24 years old when I was a kid myself was devastating, so devastating. So, yeah, he had a heart attack, went under cardiac arrest, lost oxygen to his kidneys and his brain, which caused brain damage, and it required that he would live in an assisted living facility for the rest of his life. And at the time, my dad was 64, so I feel like that's pretty young. He
Right.
was always he lived in the assisted living facility for a few years, and he was the spring chicken of the facility. Yeah,
Most people are retiring by then and wanna live another 10, 15 years
20
doing
years. Chris's
everything they wanna
parents
do,
yeah.
yeah, traveling.
Chris's granddad just celebrated his 90th birthday, so that's
Yeah.
a lot of that's so different. Yeah, and so I would say I was my dad's primary caregiver for a lot of those years, so after that, I would go with him to these cardiology appointments, to these nephrology appointments. He also had a cigarette addiction, so he had COPD in his lungs, and just to watch these doctors try and find this balance between making sure that his heart was able to pump the way that it was without damaging his kidneys because the medicine that he was on from his kidneys was impacting his heart. It was always this magic balance of trying to get the right dosage so that none of his organs were going to be impacted by the side effects of the other drug. And it was a mess. It was
Mhm.
such a mess. And to think, had he gotten help in this area of his life, in this area, it could have snowballed into something totally different. But I was pretty broken and sad over all of it for sure.
So, obviously, you wish that your dad would have learned even the basics about health and nutrition much sooner. I remember you talking about sitting down with doctors and him being clueless to eating a better diet.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
even just not knowing basic things, and I honestly think a lot of Americans still struggle with this. I think it's getting a lot better, but
Mhm.
even I remember going to the hospital, and you think, "Okay, we're at the hospital. They're gonna have really good options here,
Mhm.
and for as much money as we're paying for this
Right.
five-star resort." And I remember them giving him a large glass of orange juice with a huge bowl of spaghetti and 3 teeny tiny marble-sized meatballs and a salad covered with Italian dressing and a bread roll and dessert. And in
Right.
my mind, I'm like, "How are they feeding 8 servings of carbohydrates to their patients?" That is so scary to me, and that was a big aha moment for me, especially as Krista, you and I were getting more and more heavily educated in nutrition and
Mhm.
starting Stay Fit Mom and researching all these things. I couldn't get over, like, you would think that there would be some solid nutrition options at the hospital, but it was awful. And I think that just in general, to you and I who have counted macros, who have, like, measured our food, we know what it means to eat a high protein diet. But I think that the average human thinks, "Oh, I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, so check on the protein," or when it's, "Oh, you had 4 grams of protein in that today."
Or I think another big issue is like, "Oh, I just had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah, I just had a little bit of food." They think
Right,
that's a win too.
exactly. And so I think it was the combination of just not knowing, but then also not wanting to know. But then I'm hearing things about these peptides. I don't know if you've heard anything about this, Krista, but some of these peptide medications and how they reduce people's craving for alcohol. Somebody even I was, like, on some thread, and it was like, "Yeah, my shopping has decreased immensely," which I thought that was so interesting. Just I don't know, maybe there's, like, some connection.
Yes, all addictions, I feel like, interconnect with each other, right? It's the same with, like, when you get on a kick, when you start really eating healthy and watching what you're eating, then you start being more organized and keeping your house clean, and, like, it's always like this
Like, one healthy
ripple
habit
effect.
leads to the next healthy
Yeah.
habit.
Okay, so let's talk about how this fuels your passion for building Stay Fit Mom and helping women who could potentially, see this kind of situation in their future.
Yeah, first and foremost, am immediately drawn the client that has large strides to make in their journey. I have
Yeah.
such a heart for people that come to us and that are like, "I have 100 pounds to lose." I'm like, "Oh, praise Jesus. I get to work with somebody that has 100 pounds to lose," because I think back to my dad who had easily 100, maybe 150 pounds. But yeah, I think back to if he would have reached out to somebody, if there was somebody available to him and he went with a willing heart, like, I have a family, I have people that I love that are dependent on me, and I want to be able to play with my grandkids one day. Will you help me? And to think, I knew I'd
Yeah,
get like a little bit emotional, but to think that we as Stay Fit Mom could be that for someone,
and we have, I feel like
we
just
have over and over. Anyway,
let's
that's very healing and therapeutic for me. That.
So tell us more about you were 24, you were taking your dad to all these different doctor's appointments. He was living in a assisted living facility. He only lived there for a few years, right?
Yeah, oh, you're talking about, like, when he actually passed away.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I will say, I think that he went through a pretty radical transformation while he was in that assisted living facility. He turned over his finances to us, which was a huge gift. I think he felt like, "I'm totally lost here. What am I gonna do?" And so my brother and I were able to manage his finances, put him on a budget. He obviously didn't have access to just go down and gamble at the casino anymore because he had to take the shuttle to Walmart. And so a lot of
Mhm.
his life was limited in capacities that forced him to make these healthier choices. And so he turned his life around a lot in that facility while he was there. He was also able to get on medication for depression, and watching him go from shame and crying every day to laughter and happiness at the end was sorry, gosh, I knew I would be emotional about that. was also a gift, and it makes me think how powerful these medications can be for people. But yeah, anyway, he made friends with everybody there. I thought his assisted living facility, I know that this is not the case for everybody that has to place their family in facilities like this, but his was wonderful. It was clean, it was new. To me, it was like a dock cruise ship where they would have bingo and activities and games. And he was just loved. Everyone loved him. He was funny. There was like a joke that he was sought after. The ladies loved him, but they were also like 20 years older than him.
I do remember.
So we had a few jokes there. But yeah, we did get a call that they had found him and he went under cardiac arrest. So he ended up dying of a heart attack about 2 years after he moved in. And it's just hard. It's just hard. It's never easy, but I am grateful for those last 2 years of watching just what little changes really made in his quality of life. I wish it wouldn't have came to that and we would have been able to help him sooner, but yeah.
It's amazing how sometimes you just need those parameters, those guidelines, those budgets,
Yeah,
and they help a lot of people.
for sure. I totally agree. Krista, I remember going to the gym and telling somebody that we were doing Dave Ramsey's financial plan. And somebody had said to me something to the effect of, I don't really need those things. I don't need macros or Dave Ramsey's because I have really great self discipline. And I remember being so offended by that. Oh, are you insinuating that I suck at self discipline? Because I feel like I'm a very disciplined person. But I
Uh-huh.
guess really what it is, you're right, Krista. Some people live so well between a set of boundaries, a set of guidelines, and knowing that my genetic makeup comes from a man that has suffered from deep addiction, that's just the reality of it. Is like I am a person that needs those boundaries, or else who knows where I would be with all that.
Yeah. Obviously, you watched your dad struggle for many years and you did what you could those last couple of years to help. What is the cost of ignoring our health until it's too late?
I think it's very important to acknowledge that being proactive with your health is expensive. To not acknowledge that is just naive. It's true. If you want to take care of yourself, it's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you money, it's going to cost you resources. However, your health is expensive no matter what. It's either you're paying for those things upfront in the form of a nutrition coach, in the form of a gym membership, in the form of high quality foods, or you're paying for them in the form of assisted living facility, in the form of medications that you have to take, doctor's appointments, so much. Gosh, I know that there's some crazy statistic out there that says we're paying so much money in healthcare costs for a small percentage of the population that needs healthcare for a million different things. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't go to the doctor at all. I'm not utilizing my health insurance plan versus my dad was one of the most expensive patients there was. But again, that is because I've invested in a home gym. I've invested in taking care of myself from a young age and equipping myself with what does it mean to eat a healthy, balanced diet. I've made the sacrifice of saying no to things, even when I've wanted them. That battle of instant gratification, I love to talk about that because that feels hard in the moment, such a huge payoff down the road.
Wouldn't you say preventative health is expensive, but it's more expensive down the road if you don't pay for those things now, or if you
Right.
don't it costs your dad everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like you decide. Do you want to spend your money now or do you want to spend it later? And it's definitely the lesser of two evils. Take your pick. Yeah.
It's just so hard to know because we're so engulfed in it ourselves, you and I, in the fitness industry and nutrition. But I have to sometimes think, I feel like with social media, there's just so many opportunities now to educate yourself about nutrition. I'd like to think that most parents are doing better or at least trying a little harder for
We have
kids.
access to more
Mhm.
education than we ever have in the history of the world. So we definitely have that going for us too.
Oh,
But
access. Yes. To
yeah,
food into more junk and our kids, everything's marketed towards them. Yeah,
They're on their
so
screens all day, and yeah, we have new challenges. Yeah, there is a lot, but for sure, I would like to think that you can, in a relatively affordable way, figure this out. We provide so much free content on our website that makes this accessible for people. But yeah, for sure.
okay, that leads me to this next question. What would you say to the woman listening who thinks change isn't possible or that maybe there's just too much to lose, too
Mhm.
big of a hill to climb?
I would say, honestly, work with somebody. You get to the point where you are at the end of yourself and you have hit rock bottom. And sometimes that is the best place to be because you're just admitting, I don't have within me an ability to crawl myself out of that. And that's okay. And we are here to help you with that. There is hope. And really, it's like, when's the best time to plant a tree? 30 years ago. When's the second best time to plant a tree? Today. I wish that I had done things differently 15 years ago in my life, but it's not too late if you still have a heart beating in your chest. You still have time on your side. And so there's just so much hope there. And gosh, we have seen women after women defeat the odds, lose an incredible amount of weight, and change their family tree while they're at it, show their kids what they should be eating. And yeah, there's just so much hope, even though you might feel like you're at the end of yourself.
So preventative healthcare is gonna be a big theme this season. How do you see nutrition and lifestyle, like macro counting, playing a role in preventative healthcare compared to just relying on medication?
Gosh, they just go hand in hand. Just you have to learn how to do things the hard way. You have to learn the habits. You have to learn the food basics and you have to do the hard thing. It's like a therapist would tell you, a Zoloft is going to take the edge off. It's going to make you feel a certain way, but also there's underlying issues that you got to deal with, right? And you've got to have somebody to talk you through those things so that you can heal. Otherwise, you're numbing the pain or seeking an escape or those kinds of things. Whereas if you're to take just a GLP-1, let's just see, one of the peptides that's helping you. Again, I've already hinted at this in the episode, like, if my dad had that as an option, wow, that might have changed a lot of things for him, but also there's dangers in just pursuing that route alone. There's so many lifestyle habits that go with the tool that will make a monumentous difference in your health journey. You have to know the basics. You have to be able to rely on and have systems built in that will help make this easy for you and doable and not insurmountable. Krista, do you have anything better than that? Like, that's a really long wind around answer.
Obviously, I feel like peptides, GLP-1, it's just been a hot topic for the last while, and I'm just dying to see people just jump to using these medications. I think there are so many people that would benefit from it, but I think first and foremost, you need to develop these healthy habits and make sure you're eating a well-balanced diet, and to see someone just skip right over that part is heartbreaking because I feel like it just doesn't usually end up working out for those people.
Yeah, and then speaking of macro counting specifically, that is just a tool that empowers you to see food in a whole nother way. You will know when you walk into a hospital room with a sick patient and you see a glass of orange juice and a bowl of pasta and 3 marble-sized pieces of meat next to toast and a dessert. You will know in your soul, "Whoa." Anyway, and I think that until you really track your food intake and master that, it's like the difference between knowing and being able to pass it on to your children, being able to know for other people. It's just a gift of a tool to have.
Okay, speaking of children in your family, and we talked about how our kids maybe have access to education now, but also more access to junk than ever before. I feel like you and Chris are really good at you and Chris are so good. You have so many systems in place and you're very I feel like I don't know if discipline's the right word. You're trying to teach your kids discipline when it comes to fitness and nutrition. What kind of future do you dream of for your family when it comes to health?
I dream of a future where my children are so well equipped that they'll be able to teach their children, that their children will also carry this on, and also that I'll be able to be there to watch it all happen. And I guess that's the legacy that I hope to leave as a mom is I've given my kids as many tools as I possibly could so that they can also do the same for their families. What
Mhm.
about you, Krista?
I was just gonna say, my dream is just that my kids don't ever have to struggle with any of these things when they're
Mhm,
older. Like, having to lose 100 pounds, I hope that's not anything that they ever have to do because we've taught them how to eat balanced and not necessarily made it into any big thing. The way you look doesn't matter, but being active every single day and eating balanced, I feel like those are just things that Chad and I are doing and hoping that they're picking up on because they see us doing it. And like you, I wanna be a grandma that can help take care of grandkids. I don't
mhm.
wanna, at 70 years old, be like, "I can't babysit anymore. I can't help you because I'm just not healthy enough." That's my dream for my kids, that they just don't have to struggle with any of it, which maybe is delusional. I feel everybody has struggles, but I hope that
No, I
they're
think that's a great answer, and that would be a great dream. Love it. This
But
has been great. Episode 1,
yeah.
it's in the books.
What do you have in store for before we cut this off?
Yeah.
What do you have in store for us this season? What guests do you have already lined up?
Yeah, so next week, I'm gonna be talking with a cardiologist who is talking all about preventative healthcare, and he works with patients that are at their worst, and he's looking to help people before they get to that point. Dr. Jake is his name, and we are gonna dive into all things like I said at the beginning of the episode, Krista and I, we're not medical experts. We can give you our stories, we can give you our experiences, we can give you our client stories, but it is going to be so refreshing to hear from a medical expert from their point of view to just disseminate and explain some of these peptides, hormones in general, women's health. So, we're going to be talking to Dr. Jake and his wife, Katie, about perimenopause, hormone replacement therapy. So, there's lots of exciting things coming in this season.
I have been getting messages recently all of a sudden about wanting updates about my journey.
Oh, about your GLP-1 journey?
"Are you still on it? Whatever happened? On the podcast, you said you weren't sure yet." And I was like,
Yes.
"Well, I do
Oh, we
need to
need
do an
to do an
update," but
then let's do it. Let's do
I
an
just keep
updated
I
episode.
I
Thanks for letting me share my story. I feel like this was very healing and therapeutic for me. It has been a joy, and it really gets me excited for the rest of the season to come. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.